Legacy's Mirage. Welcome, folks. A little bit delayed there. We had some connection issues, but we're right into the thick of things here in the opening round of this upper bracket semifinal. Legacy on the T side, posing for a B finish.
Yeah, kind of just waiting things out, right? I mean, Legacy just not really going to mess around. They're not going to do any sort of fakes. They're just going to send this right away. Nice little bit of utility burning from the CT side, so they make a ton of noise. They make me eat my own words. They actually are going to go for a bit of a fake. The bomb is Lux, though. He is kind of sitting on the back of this, but they are kind of expecting maybe some counter aggression here from Sharks. I kind of like this idea, though, Paladin, because making all that noise, they're kind of making it seem like it is just going to be the old send to B. Sharks have to burn the utility that they had, which is very limited as it was. So there's only one piece of utility remaining, which is just that flash. And surprisingly, I was going to say there's no kits either, so this is actually a little bit awkward, but I guess the dualies will drop for one player as well, so things are a little bit more tight. Now the flash is once again going to come through, but Sharks have two players ready for this, but Nissim, nice little bit of a startup onto this. Now they're ready to pounce into this. Now the CTs are taking some critical damage, and the Glocks, they are just annihilating all the competition in their paths, and Nyx is by himself with dualies in hand. I don't know if I even like these odds, Paladin, because look, Nyx is a good player, but my god, this is asking a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, saving dualies in a vest would be smart. I mean, well done to Lux there. I mean, he's essentially double pumping, right? He tries to cause a lot of commotion in the apartments, and as soon as he was met with that Molotov, he knows that there's going to be a significant rotation. So why not cut noise, force the rotation back out of the bomb site, and then re-execute through a split? That wasn't the initial game plan there from Legacy, I don't think. And you see them reroute and actually use that smoke to line up for the catwalk and get a favorable duel there. And you see that ladder body right there on the floor. That comes to the credit of Nissim. So a very well orchestrated, adapted round from Lux. And this is the kind of development that I need to see from this in-game leader. The ability to game plan a plan B when things don't go according to plan. And doing that against a Sharks unit that has steadily improved in terms of their cohesion.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. And that was one thing that you talked about in the pre-show is like, the keys is gone, and that was something where he's been around for a very long time, and a lot of adjustments back and forth, but it is cool to see, someone like Lux being able to really call some good strategies and kind of revitalize a little bit here for Legacy. But I was a little bit worried just because he was kind of the bomb carry playing that close, but Sharks didn't want to get too antsy on it, which was the right call, obviously. Now they're just going to go for a full stack here on the A site. Nobody at all in window, nothing B. They're just going to, do a bit of the coin toss on this. Unfortunately for them, it's the wrong side of the coin here, Paladin.
Yeah, this should be all good for Legacy, and I think you're right? I think that there's definitely a lot of changes to be made here, and even in that round there were nearly four players on that B bomb site, and Legacy just killed all of them, which honestly is not necessarily the best strategy in the world. It's just to say like kill them all, but it's more just like I think just seeing the aspect of how he clearly understood what could happen with that incendiary being dropped and how he planned around that. It's just nice to see that he's already trying to think multiple steps ahead of Gafolo. We'll see how that kind of read goes beyond both ways as this best of three develops, but for right now, Lux has got the first laugh.
Yeah, and a nice flawless round here too for Legacy. Like, look, they put pretty big investment on this. Like, they went armor Galil, no Mac 10s or anything like that. So they were quite invested into this. And the fact that all 5 players can stay alive is a nice thing here, just to keep that money a little bit more afloat. But now it's going to be a big test, right? I mean, Sharks got the coin back in their pocket with the round loss bonus, going to go for their favor. So we got the M4s, no A4s, surprisingly, all going to be A1Ss, so not bad, but we'll have to see. This is an important round for Sharks to get themselves back in this game, but also to kind of, get themselves at least on the board. But it looking like a bit of a standardized play from the CT side, just kind of keeping Nixon by himself into window, going to throw some of that deep utility into mid, but again, Legacy not even really entertaining it yet, playing a very passive setup, kind of expecting maybe some aggression here. So both these teams giving quite a bit of respect for round number 3.
Bizarre use of both of those incendiaries as early as they did. They don't even get any real presence out of that, and now you're down to 4 smokes and a flash, and then you've got a nade as well, but there's no stall utility really in that sense. Anti-rush grenades are at a minimum, and that's just the problem with the loss bonus as of right now. So Legacy get themselves mid-control, and now they can flash Dumao into connector. That's a gunfight that Gafolo will love to take. And RDN winning his cat fight, They take a little bit more of a passive stance and they win. Now it's this B bomb site that's under fire, and look at that shot from Nissim. His entries have been great to start off Mirage. 2 players here in the rotation, but Gafola will find one more. Now it's absolute pandemonium for the T's. Can they actually turn anything around? Just a good trade, but it throws Sadzin into a tough clutch. 1v3 with all 3 players on the B site proper. That's going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, this is asking a whole lot. I mean, with just under 30 seconds remaining, again, this is a 1-on-3 that he's going to have to be able to find by himself single-handedly, but he's not going to be able to. I was thinking maybe that fight with Nyx allows him to have that 1-on-1 just to kind of reposition himself, but Sharks doing a great job. They were able to hold things down. Big round coming through from a couple different players here, but yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Legacy because it kind of felt like it was only really Nissim that was starting things off. He was the only one that was able to really get any frags moving, but a little bit too short. Now the tactical is going to come out, so they're actually going to call this right away. Been a little bit interesting, but I think, again, just kind of looking at the money situation again, like you kind of have everybody sitting at that, like, you know, mid-4s, kind of like low 5s, but they are going to commit to the rifles. And I'm not even against this. I think they should be trying to bounce back, because if they could win this round, Paladin, I mean, again, they could kind of, you know, cause a little bit of havoc with the Sharks' economy, but you can already see Gafola's already sitting with a FAMAS full utility, so it's not even going to be, like, the strongest rifles, hypothetically.
Yeah, let's get this swing around going. And, I mean, honestly, in that round there, having mid-control not work as well as it did, with RDN and Gafola doing well to shut out Con presence and Cat presence, that B play doesn't have that much potency at that point. You don't have the extra pressure from Catwalk, and with that, even if Nissim gets an entry, you've got easy rotations, kind of reminiscent of that pistol in a way. And so now they're actually going to speed up the tempo and try to get up Cat as fast as possible. And sure, Sadzin goes down to the flash, but look at Lotto. So versatile on both sides of the coin here in Counter-Strike, and seeing him get that quick double is everything. Nissim now getting another entry. They're going to rejig the setup. Instead of ending B, they'll end A. It leaves all onto Nyx. No trusty op. Down to the rifle, pinned against the default box. And Legacy will get themselves their 3rd round on the board, as Doc is already off the save in apartments.
Yeah, this is wild. I mean, the fact, again, like we were talking about, you know, players like Nissim, like, joining this team, and, you know, it's exciting to see already, like, you know, the first couple rounds in, he's already, you know, putting himself in an 8-1. Like, he's already had himself a stellar performance. So you love to see it because, again, he was one of those guys that was from, you know this better than I do, but I mean, he was kind of like on Sharks, but wasn't on Sharks, and got to play around and stuff like that. So for him to actually finally have a home and being a bit more active is really great to see, because it looks like he's definitely trying to make a bit more of a statement now that he can play back in some officials and things like that.
Yeah, I know. This guy's got, I mean, I'm sure he's been itching to play ever since his stint on Pain. I mean, being benched like that is such a demoralizing thing in your career, because and Brazilian contracts are difficult to buy out in this day and age. So he had to wait all of that contract out. I know, I'm sure many people questioned whether or not he still had it. I certainly did, but from his openings so far, I think there's a lot to love about this guy, and I hope he can find a solid home here in Legacy. Very clearly looks good to start off these first 4 rounds. Got to keep it up here, as another buy is out for the Sharks. It's not a pretty one, but tough times create tough players. We'll see what this boost can work out for RDN. Does a lot in terms of this aggression. It's been spotted out, though. Lux should have been given that kill. Doesn't actually find it. That does prime in the rest of the cavalry to hit into this B bomb site.
What?
Koala does so much to find one. And now, surely this bomb can go down, but look at this crunch coming in, Laz.
Yeah, this is a bit awkward too, because again, it is a bit of a crunch. The Molly's going to slow things down just a little bit for the Sharks in the hallway, but another Molotov going to get thrown. So now they have to decide if they want to wait things out or if they want to get past it. It looks like they actually do go past it, but look at Sadzin and Lotto. They're able to just come through the market, but Doc, he's got something different in order with the double kill. All of a sudden now, things have changed into the 1v1. Still lots of time on the bomb, and Dumau, the young prospect, so much talking about him. He's just going to have to come up big for the clutch. RDN waiting things out, a fake defuse, but look at Dumau. He's not biting at all, and he finally goes for the peak. Not enough time. There's no kit in Legacy. They take it away, and I don't believe they get it like this, Paladin.
I very smartly played from Dumau there, understanding that there is no shot that Sharks have got a solid economy under their belt. And with that, there's going to be a lack of kit. They're going to have to swing into him. He plays the door angle well, and even though he goes down, he secures the round, and he puts all the onus on Sharks to have another tough purchase moving into round number 6. They'll save over that AK, but well done to Legacy there to make sure that that Lux death in middle doesn't go in vain. They immediately pounce on that B bomb site, and they look good while doing it. Effective work. And now you should have an easier time around. Sadzin's got the AWP. You start to get a little bit more comfortable in these defaults, and you can kind of slow the pace of the round down. As Dumal's already getting antsy, walking out A main, has a head right on a silver platter. Doc goes down. I think he's heard this triple boost as well. They've got to disassemble that. RDN will fall. So does Nissim. Yeah, I guess Lux is now through the connector, finding a little bit more space there. This should still be solved. Yeah, there we go. Nyx falls, and now it's just Koala. That's already at the scene of the crime pretty quickly, but I think this will still be a tough ask in the 1v3.
Yeah, especially with the MP9 too. I mean, again, look, like, I mean, we could talk about this forever, but I mean, we talk about the update, right? Like the nerf, you know, with an asterisk to the, you know, the MP9, obviously, like, it's still really good. Obviously not quite as good as it was, but yeah, look, you're asking a lot for an MP9 in jungle, you know, on 1-on-3, not going to work out. But Legacy mixing up the playbook really nicely here, Paladin. We've seen a lot of B hits so far on the 7 rounds we've had. Now they finally, you know, do a little bit of a different flavor. They go for A little bit more scary considering it was a bit more stacked here from the Sharks. Now there could be some blood in the water. Maybe. We have to see if Nyx can finally get this op into motion. That's where we talked a lot about it, where, look, we know that he can be a lethal opper, but can he do it now? When they're down by 4, can he be able to find some kind of an opening here for the Sharks?
I think he's got to will openings into his favor. He can't just sit around and let Legacy play their own tempo. I definitely think he struggled to call his own shots. Unlike Doc, who's going to go aggressing into underpass, and he falls straight away, goes 1 for 1. I think Legacy will be very happy with that. Nyx tries to reroute over to the ladder, and that bottle won't be heard, but Nissim kissing in the smoke in apartments will find RDN. A huge opening in that B bomb site, but the rotations aren't swift enough, and Sadzin punishes. He's on that angle, knowing the rotation comes in. The wrap is in from the IGL as well. That's a beautiful round there to crunch in on that B bomb site as they disassemble the Sharks and look good to get that 6th.
Now, this is so much to take away here from Legacy. Like, their T side is just looking perfect, right? I mean, they're not even like losing that many people in some of these gun rounds. Like, we've only seen what, like, the odd, you know, situation. I think it was the 1-on-1 with Dumal like 2 or 3 rounds ago. But really, it feels like Legacy have been just, they've have a good game plan. Like, we were talking, I was thinking, you know, Sharks were going to be in the position of anti-stratting. They were going to know what to expect from Legacy, but Legacy, they are just on a whole other level right now. They're going to be at a 6-1. And they're taking every site they want to. Like, they kind of pick and choose. They're like, you know what? This is what I want. I'm going to get it. And there's not really that much contention right now from the Sharks. So I'm kind of waiting to see a little bit of a tactical, Paladin. I would kind of hope so, because this scoreline is getting a bit out of hand. Like, I understand CT side's difficult, but this is becoming a large gap.
Yeah, definitely. I think for the Sharks, taking attack is not a bad idea. Maybe they'll take it next round, considering this is probably that eco situation. I mean, it'd be less of an eco considering max loss, but you'd like to kind of slow the pace of the game down, because right now, Legacy are playing in a completely different fashion to the lineup that we saw last season, where they would play the clock down to like 15 seconds before they would hit into the bomb site. Now you're getting a much more faster paced default, and it's looking much sharper. You're getting those strong players activated, and they're really working that firepower effectively. Look at them, already in connector at a minute 30 on the clock, punishing RDN for a jiggle peek. They see the boost in triple, they communicate that over. Dumal's got a chance at some trades here, and Lado's found another incision on that A-bomb set, but they've seen so many bodies here, Legacy, that they decide to reroute. They've got a little bit of mid-control. They could slow the pace of the round down and really work this 4v2 in their favor.
Yeah, like, there's the fact that we're not even, like, at the minute mark, right? I mean, then Legacy are in the prime position to get themselves a free site like this. it's just madness. Like, that's the thing I love about watching like South America teams. I feel like we're always so blessed to see like some of the styles they can really bring to the table. And I feel like every time you and I cover their games, like it always changes. Like I feel like it's never the same. So it's really exciting to see Legacy playing the way they are, but also, like I said, it's so surprising to see that Sharks, like, these waters are just a bit too deep for them right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, if you're having to contend as a defense with a team sending 2 players like connector at a minute 30, and you've got players walking out of A main, just kind of prancing around the A site as freely as they are, you're going to have your hands full. So there's definitely a lot of work for Sharks to do. I think they've got to deploy a lot of utility early, and they're trying their hand at some more aggressive maneuvers, sure, but there's got to be some trade potential behind it. They can't be one-man missions where, Doc is swinging underpass alone or RDN is going for a peek in apartments alone. It's got to be kind of a buddy system to really thrust Legacy into some hard decisions in the kind of mid to late round. Force Lux to kind of figure out how to work these kind of harder decisions as an IGL as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like, thank goodness we finally get to see Sharks realizing, look, like, we got to call something right now. And I mean, that's the thing is like that we've seen some of the utility usage from Sharks being thrown deep into middle. Like you made a really good point, a little bit questionable how fast they were burning through like mollies and not really keeping that extra utility to really slow down aggression. But now we need to see something different from Sharks, right? I would love to see them, fighting for some kind of map control, whether that's through mid, just to push these guys back, fighting a little bit just to show that, they're not just going to get bulldozed through. They're not just going to, take this beating. So there's a lot of pressure for Sharks to counteract this aggression of what Legacy is able to do with, like you said, 1 or 2 players that are just kind of getting these openers. They have to find a way to shut one of these guys down. And Paladin, funny enough, they're going to call it double tactical. So they really, really want to get things crystal clear because, yeah, obviously things are down by 6.
Yeah, definitely. They tend to do this a couple of times, especially when they realize the situation is dire. I mean, it's certainly dire at this point when you think about it. At this point, if they can't nab 3-4 rounds, it's pretty much curtains. The game would likely be over. Already in this situation, a 7-5 half is still a losing one. So I understand why they were going through with this. It makes complete sense. There is a lot on this. They're using all 3. And you know what? I don't even think that's a bad call. Legacy are pretty much having their way with any portion of the map that you can think of. They've got it. And so if you can't figure out your game plan, I don't think that there's anything really much to say about this map. And frankly, I think it's really hard to just dramatically change your game plan as a defense completely across the map this fast.
Yeah.
Like nothing is working.
Nothing's worked, and that's the thing. Like, I think the fact that, like you said, they're taking 3 timeouts is, I can look at that as a good thing and a bad thing because, it's good to get everything crystal clear up the comms. Maybe there's some kind of miscommunication somewhere internally with the team right now. Who knows? There can be a lot of different things we can analyze and speculate, but clearly something is disconnected. Let's hope that this is going to pan out nicely for them, and the fact that they can find something different in round number 9. The AWP is going to be back out. Nyx hasn't really been able to show us anything at all. It's been a little abysmal at this moment, but Legacy now right back to what they do. Kind of the double player just waiting outside of B, having the lurk here of Lux in middle. He's finally kind of just entertaining behind boxes, but are Sharks going to try to get him out? Yes, they will. They're going to throw that utility. Lux does take a significant amount here, so this is a little bit different than before, but look at how fast they back off on this Paladin. They're not even contesting with it anymore. They're just going to peel on back, and they're going to wait for Legacy now.
Interesting. Again, a little bit more of a passive approach to middle. You got 2 players dedicated to connector, realizing the gravitas of that position, and it's been a very hard one to kind of contend for. But Legacy are very keen on just having presence there, not necessarily fighting for it. And they're going to go right back at RDN once more. They've been getting this entry time in and time out. And there's a real opportunity there. And Dumal's found another kill to open up connector once more. Lux has got another on a flea platter. Koala's attention is turned, and they're going to start to move forward. Finally, he gets to pull back. The Molotov is in. They don't commit. It's all a ruse. Yeah, 30 seconds left on the clock, and they want to reroute to the A bomb site. But I believe Nyx has heard this. It's all about a question of whether they can get there in time.
Yeah, he's not even in a good position either. Like, yeah, he's got the noise cue. You can definitely hear it, but look at the position they're in now. Like, it's a long rotate. Nyx is the one closest player, which is going to be joined here by RDN. They're going to both go through CT spawn, and Koala trying to connect her on Catwalk. Not going to happen at all. Sodson's going to be able to connect the op. Oh, dear God. Things are falling apart here once again for the Sharks. And I think they're going to have to save this. I mean, they have no position to work with. They barely have utility to use. And even right now, there's already the lurking player, which is going to be Nissa once again. And is he going to get gifted a second kill? No, surely he will not, but he does. He just takes them away, doesn't even want the op, and he's just going to walk away like an absolute madman.
Oh my goodness. Legacy right now, even in that situation there was a world where they lose that round. There's 50 seconds left on the clock. You still got a player in CT, and he's spamming through the triple box. I think the bomb planter ends up living on just 5 HP. If he goes down, there is no ability to replant that bomb, and Sharks probably get away with murder, but unfortunately nothing is going in their favor right now. They cannot stop the tempo that Legacy have been earning for themselves right now, and they're just gonna have to kind of sit and stew in it at this point. Again, Dumao going aggressive in connector, this time though dealt with by Doc. Automatically filled in by these Sharks members. There's guns on the ground to pick up as well. Surely in this kind of situation, when you've got yourselves a 3v5 or a 5v3 rather, you've got to be able to close it out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and this is the thing. They still got the AK in hand of Doc. This is going to be important. RDN does have the armor with the MP9, so this is critical, right? I mean, there's a big chance here Sharks can bring this back, but again, they have to be smart about their positioning. They can't overextend this. Legacy are in an interesting position because we haven't seen them in this. We haven't seen them in a deficit at all, I think, in this entire first map. So this is a matter of, you know, you got Lux still alive. He's been able to find some interesting openers. He's going to be able to get across onto B Hall. He does drop down. RDN, he does hear this, though. Is Lux going to be gifted it? He will not. He finally gets taken away. Lotto and now Sodson, the last two remaining players. Bombs in the back of T spawn. They haven't made a decision. They can go for this, though. I mean, there's no reason they don't have to. I mean, they got the coin that they can kind of just try it if they want to. But at the same time, I mean, you got 5 players that you got to take out in 26 seconds. So things are not looking great. Lotto goes down. Now this could be a save. Sawzin might just realize, you know what? Let's keep the big green. Let's not mess around. And there's only 17 seconds. But honestly, a job well done here from Sharks. Finally, a little bit of life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they finally figured out the connector problem. They get that kill onto Dumao, and straight away, you can already see a little bit of unease from Legacy on that T side. Another player in Palace tries to get a little aggressive, and finally a CT can deal with him there. They do it on the pistols, and they've got to do it with the rifles. I think 4 is absolutely paramount at this point, and if they can't find that, they're still in for a world of hurt. And I've got to find just a little bit more replicable CT play here from the Sharks. Can they actually back up what they've been kind of been gifted in that round there?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you bring that up about, like, you know, they figured out the connector problem. It only took them, what, 10, 11 rounds to figure it out. But yeah, they finally get it done. A little bit of nice movement from Koala. He gets himself on the catwalk, but now he's going to have to backpedal quickly. Legacy, again, just throwing a little bit of a ruse, making it seem like they might try to aggressively take mid, burning that utility once again from the CT side. They got 2 Molotovs remaining here of Doc and Koala. And then there's only HEs and a smoke here for the last remaining players. So this is where, again, Legacy have done a great job just burning that utility from the CT side, allowing them an easier entrance into these bomb sites. And they're just going to go for the 4-1 split. They're going to get everybody else onto ramp. They're going to have the lurk here from Nissim in Palace. This is going to be a perfect execute because they're going to get it for free. Because really, Gafolo's in connector. You have Nyx kind of just playing the AK, just jump spotting. So they're going to have to play full retake. And honestly, nothing's been impressive so far about their retakes.
There hasn't been a retake, Laz. That's the crazy part.
That's why it's not impressive.
Oh, man. And now at this point, here comes the cavalry. And the rotations will be there. Finally, be able to take one gunfight somewhere. But instead, they're just going to get this bomb plant. I'd like to think for free. The spam isn't even coming through. You've got a 5v5 retake. Not that much retake utility. Dumao's found one through the smoke as it gets broken open. And straight away, the pressure's on the Sharks.
No.
Dumao will still stand and deliver 2 kills for him. Lato's there for the trade. Koala and Gofolo at this point don't have anything to do with this round here. They're going to try to save, but there's already a player trying to chase them down. It's the captain of Lux to find one more. Koala hits the deck, and it's just Gofolo to save this AK-47, but it's so unfortunate. You know, when you look at what Sharks had in that round there, they finally go all in on this mid play, and that's the round that Legacy decide to go for an AXE. It's just so hard to read at this point, and Legacy can simply do no wrong.
No, I just feel like the stars are aligned right now for Legacy, right? I mean, we're on the last round of the first half. I mean, honestly, look, the way this has gone, like, it's not even going to be surprising if we sit at a 10-2. Like, these guys have just really felt like they had Sharks' number the entire game. And like you said, the Sharks had a different setup in the previous round, and then they get counter-stratted, right? I mean, it's just like there's no luck here at all for them. And that retake was nothing. Like, they had nothing to work with. They didn't really do much. And the fact that Dumao is sitting in the middle of a site, and he could still get some duels through a smoke and things like that, it's just, this is where you just start to kick yourself because nothing is connecting at all. Double players on cap. They're going to see if they can find something a little bit differently. Not going to happen. Doc's got the nade ready to pop this open. And look at that. Lux gets it for free. Like, he just able to run through the smoke like that and gets an opening duel. And now they're going to be able to find another opening kill. Paladin. This thing is just falling apart.
I mean, they are reading Sharks like a book. The one decision that Doc has, he's going to nade open the smoke. Yeah, of course Lux is just going to walk through the con smoke. How do you expect that if you're Doc in that kind of situation? I couldn't tell you. And now they've got to kind of pull themselves up by their bootstraps here and come back into this 3v5 on this A site. They've got their way back into CT somehow. They've got a player in jungle, and finally Nyx hits the stunner. Wallbang headshot, but he finally falls. It's just this CT spawn pronged, and they're just getting spammed down through the smoke. They're not even able to get out of their own spawn. It's double digits for Legacy as they absolutely manhandle the Sharks here on Mirage.
Okay, well, we're back, and I mean, for all you that were watching, you just saw Legacy get a 10-2 on the T side. Now it's a question if they can close things off nice and swiftly, or maybe the Sharks got themselves a second life, but we're about to find out. Laz and Paladin here to bring things through on the first map of Mirage, and it looks like Sharks not even going to mess around. They're just going to try to commit to this B hit. They don't want to fake anything out. They don't want to wait anything out. They just want to see if they can just send it into the site. So far, looking okay here, Paladin, because they find the opening duel. They should be able to get this bomb down, but it's a question of the post plant. Can they hold on?
There's no kits for this retake for Legacy, so they're already going to have to get a little bit of a move on. Sadson takes a dink to the face, and they've still not really scaled into market. They're taking their own sweet time. Finally, these smokes fade, so they'll have a little bit more of a sight line in. But they've got to actually get moving right now, and they've got to find some headshots. But instead, it's going the other way. RDN finds one, so does Nix. There's the answer back, 2v2 as we keep going in, but Doc finally finds a necessary incision. It's all up to Nissim in the 1v2, and I think too much time has elapsed at this point that he can't really get out alive either. Sharks live to fight another day as they find themselves that third round.
Yeah, it's about goddamn time too, right? Like, it's like, look, man, this has taken a long time, and they finally get the pistol done. They get the bomb down. That's going to add a little bit more coin to the pocket. Now they're not even really, they're just going to keep the 1 Mac 10. They're going to keep these Galils in composition with the AK. So look, I like it. They need to bring back some rounds. It was a little bit scary because it came down to the 2v1, still in their favor. But look, they get it done. Now we see Legacy going to bounce back here with the 5.7s and a scout here for Sodzin. This is an important round here too, because again, Legacy are in a prime position about their economy. They burned everything in the bank. Sodzin actually goes for a bit of an aggressive peek here, gets annihilated. So Sharks already starting things off with the opening duels, finally going in their favor. We haven't been able to see that, I don't even think at all. It's been pretty much non-existent here, but finally they get 2, and they haven't lost anybody yet.
That should be good. There's that 4 spy to deal with. A lot of Lux into Mao on these 5.7s. They can be potent, but being split apart like this, not having any idea what's going on in the middle, it's going to really spell some disaster. At least you'd like to think so. They're going to go for a bit of a gamble stack, send all 3 players onto this B bomb site and hope that maybe they end there. But eventually, I believe Koala will be able to get enough information out from that A site that there's nobody home. Gafola will clear out ladder. With 45 seconds left on the clock, they just got to make up their mind here, Sharks, and they've got to go together. Gafola will give them the answer that this B-bomb site is inhabited, and he will be able to live as well. I'm surprised he's able to live,
That's
but
awkward.
they've got everything figured out, and if they can hold on to this Galil as well, it'd be awesome.
That's going to be a big question, though. And even Sharks right now, I mean, do they even want to hunt this? I just don't know if it's even worth it, right? I mean, yeah, you could take away the armor from both these CT players, but it's like the risk of potentially losing some of these guns, which, I mean, yes, they can bounce back. But it looks like they might actually entertain this idea. They're going to go double players on the catwalk. Dumao, once again, trying again with the 5.7. You can love the 5.7, you can hate the 5.7. This is, we saw a little bit of a glimpse of Dumao with the whiff in the moments that you absolutely hate that pistol. He's trying to just dance around with these guys as much as possible. He's going to go down. Lotto should be able to survive on this as he's just hanging out in market. So Sharks, they do find 1. Not bad. And they don't even lose, again, anybody on their end here for that hunt. So not bad at all. So now Legacy in a bit of a bind here, Paladin, because the money, it's, once again, it's right back to nothing great.
Yeah, they're just going to have to save this one out. All good. They took a little bit of a chance. They were having that hot hand throughout the previous half. Every headshot connecting that, why not try to tempt fate? We've got a lot of buffer as well, so there's definitely not a real issue with going with that 4 spy. Especially considering you can get that loss bonus built up, so you can have a more stable first round or first purchase. Now, Ardian gets out middle. A player that's really been dealt a tough hand in this game, and has done a decent enough job to hold his own.
Come on.
Koala will do some good work to deal with the A main aggression outside as well.
Poor Dumao. Really hoping for that Zeus. Instead, he's just going to run on through. Oh, I thought maybe he had a chance against Gafola, but okay. Well, it's a valiant effort. Not going to work out here for Legacy. Nissim, the last remaining player, hanging out. He does get one little kill. Why not? It's all good. But now Sharks have been able to bring back 3 rounds in a row. Finally, we'll see the gun round. Going to be commenced here from Legacy. The op's going to be out for Sozin, which I feel like we haven't really seen too much of him activating the op on the T side, which I don't think they really needed to, just given their game plan with so much aggression. So this will be exciting to see him, right?
I don't think you're even really getting post plants to have that kind of potency, and you're looking towards your rifle core to find you entries. I mean, Nissim's hidden hard. You got Lux finding impact as well as Dumao. And with that, I mean, if he's that last player, fourth player coming into the bomb site, especially when they're saving, you're not really going to need him in a lot of situations. So they're just going to call an all-out A play here. Sharks going straight away into that sniper of Sadzin, and already you see the impact from him. Nissim will find one before he falls. Man advantage retained for the Legacy side, and sure, a bomb plant could be imminent, but it's going to be tough to kind of hold the CTs at bay.
Yeah, they saw that utility too. I was thinking they were going to use that molly a little bit faster, maybe to not just deny the plant a little longer. But now for Sharks, they got one player deep in ticket, one playing on Firebox here. The numbers are still an advantage here for the CT side, but look at how fast the Sharks, the huge bite, and they find the double kill, now leaving it to Lotto and Sodzin by themselves. Lotto now in the back of CT spawn. I don't know if this is looking likely unless they can find a duel quickly. A nice little bit of a spam onto Nyx. He's not dead, but he takes a big brunt of it. Allows Lotto to at least find this one kill, but Sodzin, he's got to get out of here. He's got to keep the big green. He's waiting on by in jungle. Finds himself one more duel, why not? Now he can escape, but Sharks, that's going to be 3 in a row. And honestly, this is starting to turn around a little bit. Looking like the T side is becoming a dominant force.
Yeah, when you're down by so many rounds, I don't think it's the worst to play a little looser. And that's kind of what the Sharks go through in that round there. They just call out an A contact play, not even A contact play, they just fly out of the ramp as soon as possible, throw those smokes out on the fly. Hope that they get some favorable trades. And just they try to play a little bit more active in the post plan. As soon as they get that bomb down, they're trying to force fights as soon as those smokes fade, and Legacy cannot keep up with that. When you're getting those angles swung into you, it's going to be just a little bit more troublesome. So good work for them to kind of command the respect of Legacy a little bit more. They're not going to be able to just kind of steamroll their way to a 13-round secure kind of collection, but they're going to have to earn it a little bit more. They're going to have to grind their way out and win some solid gun rounds.
Yeah, I do like the little bit of a timeout here from Legacy, right? And just, again, cleaning things up. They still have one more remaining where Sharks has actually burned through all of theirs, where we saw it was all 3 of the one shot. So now for Sharks, once again, it'll be interesting to see what they want to bring to this one. All rifles across Galil for Nyx, but they, again, looking like they want to position themselves here for the A exec, which is going to put a little bit more pressure for Nissim, where he played on the default position before. Now Lux is, again, just trying to utilize that MP9 a little bit closer. Getting himself right into the thick of it. Oh god, that smoke's gonna get popped open. He was trying to be a little bit cheeky, but he just gets eaten alive, and Koala now finds himself a double kill to open up this site. And these CTs, they gotta get the hell out of here. They have nothing to work with. They gotta keep the big green in their hands.
This is a tale of just solid entry work from both ends. I mean, on the Legacy side of things, Nissim doing a whole lot of work, and now Koala multiple times on this A bomb site to kind of relieve some pressure. Make Gafolo's job to call the micro a little bit easier. And Legacy are not going to necessarily feel comfortable about this scoreline continuing to close in on them. Granted, they've only had one opportunity with the buys, and now this following round will really set the tone as to what the second half is going to look like. But already you can kind of sense some unease with the timeout being taken in the round previous, and the Sharks kind of manhandling their way into this A bomb site through brute force.
Yeah, it really is a brute force, and again, we'll see what Legacy can bounce back with. I mean, this is where, again, when you're getting down in these rounds and you haven't been able to really find any connection since the first half, like at all, this has all been Sharks just leading this now. I mean, they're still behind by 3, but they're bringing this a lot closer. Like, we were talking a 10-2 at one point, and now 3 rounds away from a tie game scenario. So a big question to see what Legacy want to go for, right? Do we see the same CT setup? Do we see something a little bit different from them? Looking like a little bit of a 1-2-2. And that's going to be Dumao He is, you know, known as a better CT-sided player, you know, from his time. Waiting for him to have a pop-off moment. But now they're going to just kind of backpedal a little bit more here. Nothing's been happening in mid. Slowly and surely, Sharks just kind of taking this map presence slow. But I don't mind this from Sharks. It is good just because they were kind of expecting maybe something fast from Legacy. So some good anti-stratting a little bit. But now I want to see Sods, and he's going to have to be the playmaker here, Paladin. Like, I really want to see that CT op getting rotated properly, but he's in no man's land. Nobody's coming near him.
Yeah, they're leaving him at that A anchor to just allow for a little bit more of a lean into window. And Dumau's just got to patrol through so much. They've not fought for middle at all, so they have no idea what's coming. Sharks are doing a very good job at figuring this out, and Nyx has found an entry. That's fantastic to have. You've killed this B apartments player, so it's going to have to be an all-out cat fight to get into this B bomb site, unless Doc can do something from here in the window. Maybe you can get off a rotation, maybe you can get even more. Dumau will be giving him those critical footsteps to suggest that he's running away, and Doc has found a little bit of a head. And now they're actually thinking they're going to reroute into this A-bomb site, and that's an even smarter call. Way to not jump the gun from Doc and not fire off his gun early, because now he's got a free 3v3 post for his team.
Yeah, that's huge. Doc just a lot of information gathering, and now Nissa maybe, yes he will. He's going to be able to take down the Opera here. So now giving them the slightest advantage with Lux, though, surviving with 7 HP remaining. Gafolo now and Doc, they have to be the playmakers. They have to be able to find something big. A little bit quieter here for both of them statistically. Now they're both stuck in jungle. CT's trying to see what they can do, pushing them back just a little bit more. Molly's not going to be able to crisp the toes enough here, and they finally make the connections needed. We finally see a little bit of a pulse coming back here from Legacy, and they're going to get their first round here in the second half.
Yeah, good work there from Legacy to try and kind of suss out where these players are. They know that they get a one con play, but there still lurks around every corner. They use that Molotov effectively. Dumau boosts himself, tries to make that cat jump back the other way. Works out wonderfully. And they kind of just keep pincering them, boxing them in to jungle. Get themselves 11 rounds on the board. Put some added pressure back on Sharks, telling them, hey, look, this score is still very firmly in our favor. Dumau spots a little bit of a barrel through the edge of that smoke, but it doesn't matter. Doc is upping the tempo up the catwalk alongside RDN, and they're knocking on the door of this B bomb site at a minute 35.
Yeah, they're starting to take a little bit of a token here from Legacy, right? They want to just kick things up a little bit more of a notch. They want to just go a little bit faster pace on this. They want to brute force this. They want to see what they can do. But Lotto, no! He misses the spray. He can't make any sort of damage. And look at how convincingly Sharks, they just take this site. But a little bit of retaliation here. Dumau's able to find himself something. But now it's a 3-on-3. Do the CTs want to contest this? They have a smoke and Molotov with one singular flash. And it does look like Dumau, instead of going out to catwalk, he's going to go in underpass, allowing him to have a little bit of that B apartments, hoping his teammates are going to be able to make enough of a distraction here for him to be able to find this opening. Sodzen throws the molly, the CT molly just being terrible, not able to spread enough here. So a posted player just waiting on the outskirts of Get Right. Oh, and they're going to retreat this plan. They're not even going to entertain it, and that's so tough to watch here, Paladin.
If that's a Molotov, he gets a kill there, and then the retake is on. They've got kits, they've got enough time as well. But that molly not spreading, or the incendiary rather, and Sharks will hold on in the 3v3. I love the kind of pace that they're setting here right now from Gafolo. It's a real risk to run this sort of style when you're down as many rounds as you are, but it is completely catching Legacy off guard. They're trying to get settled into these kinds of mid-setups, so to speak, but none of it has been working. You don't have a player off catwalk to deal with. He's getting pushed off by flashes. And that top con smoke off of spawn is also just denying a lot of information here for Legacy. So Sharks are doing a whole lot of work to kind of right the wrongs of what they showed off in that first half, and really trying to put the pressure on Legacy to slow these rounds down.
Right back to the full exec now once again. Dumau here just on the outskirts of bench. But Doc's going to be able to... He's actually going to take down one of his teammates, too. I was thinking, man, he found a double kill, but then I'm like, oh, no. Oh, my God, and even Lux is able to get a kill through the smoke here. And Doc, he's going to be eradicated on this one. So back to the man advantage in the slightest favor right now for Legacy once again. Nyx somehow gets for a swinging op shot. This is just chaotic. This is such a brawl. And now the barrel's going to be spotted here in CT spawn. Just toying with this. Nyx just eats them alive once again with the op. He's just making all the right connections. And Legacy, they got to retreat this again, Paladin. They can't seem to find these retakes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful little setup there from Sharks. It's a bit of a bait and switch. They Molotov deep, and they have Nyx play ahead of that Molotov and have that little long line in between CT spawn, or ticket booth and CT spawn. And Legacy are completely unaware. As soon as he gets that first shot through, there's no flash to get him off the angle. They try to do their best to force a shot out of him with a little bit of barrel work, but nothing works. And Nyx hits the necessary shots to pull this game back within 2. Legacy, they'll have another purchase considering the loss bonus built up, but the Sharks have found a real nice rhythm to this offense, and there's just not really an answer here from Legacy to respond.
Yeah, it's just so shocking to see, like, the CT sides have been really just non-existent for both these teams, right? I mean, like, again, the T side is really the moneymaker. And this is where, you know, we were thinking this was over. Like, we thought this was a one-sided affair, but Sharks, you know, get themselves on the offense, and they're a whole different team now. So, I mean, Legacy, this is a tough position to be in too, because when you have a lead like this, I mean, and when it starts to dwindle, it starts to get really, really stressful, and it's hard not to, like, get in your head because nothing is starting to work. And they're kind of going through the exact same path that Sharks were going through. And now they're kind of just essentially guessing on their setups on what they want to do to kind of really stop and stunt the Sharks.
Need a big individual play to kind of break this deadlock. And nothing giving so far. Lux patrolling through catwalk. Nobody in top of connector seeing anything as well. So they just slide back into these passive setups once more. Let the play come to them, and luckily they've still found an entry to try and make things easier. Sadzin has cut off one head of the Hydra. But Koala still lurks within the palace, still searching for something. He hears that flashbang to prime Nissim in. He knows that there's a player main, and now that Dumal has fallen, this A bomb site is a little bit under threat. 30 seconds left on the clock. They've got to start getting a move on. And if they can't find this opening from Koala, then they're going to have to call it quits. Maybe another route elsewhere could be a solution. RDN takes out Lux. But with 15 seconds left, where do they go? They've got to go to this B bomb site, especially after Koala hits the deck. It's all on Lotto here. He just got to find one kill. He spots ahead. He just has to find that one kill, and he will.
That's it.
Now it's all onto RDN just to stay alive, just to hold on to that rifle. And he should be able to. Caught between two mines. And yeah, he finds that necessary kill on the Lotto. But Lotto does enough. There's that individual presence that they needed to just at least secure overtime.
Yeah, and that was such a really great display of just the trigger discipline, right? Like, he didn't swing too fast. Like, he even spotted the one head just on the edge of the window. He waited things out, that extra second just to burn as much time as possible. And the one person he took out was the bomb carrier, right? So that is even more worse for the situation of Sharks, where, you know, if you take the other player out and the trade happens, maybe the plant could have came in just in the amount of time. But that's a huge impact kill from Lotto. Something needed here from Legacy. Now we're on the map point. Finally, a moment I wasn't sure we were going to get to. I was kind of thinking this was maybe leading into an overtime scenario, but Sharks now needing to push 3 rounds to make that happen. Flash comes in. Nyx is just going to get blind as a bat. Beautiful utility work from both Nissim and Sadzin. He's going to throw the perfect pop flash, and now they can reposition themselves to the smoke right in front of Koala's face here, Paladin. Oh dear, this thing is falling apart.
A little bit of a fundamental error there. Both players not playing anti in that A main setup, and that's a freebie for Nissim. Sadzin also following up on that contact play, and things go from bad to worse for Sharks. All that momentum, all that hard work to pull this as close as it was, all for naught. And they've got a last-ditch effort here in the 3v5. Dumal swings out to take out Doc. Lux finds RDN, and it's all on the captain of Gafolo. He's going to have an absolute heroic display here in the 1v5. He'll find the first, but he's already down to 12 HP. 40 seconds left on the clock. There is nothing to write home about here for Sharks in this round. And Legacy, after going through so much tribulation in that second half, get it across the line here and nab their own map pick.
Man, that was definitely stressful. I mean, that's the thing we were talking about. For Mirage to be the opening map like this, it definitely was one of those ones that can be a bar burner, right? Because you just never know what to expect on a map like this with two South American teams. And man, it almost pushed themselves into an overtime scenario. Like, that's where we were saying Legacy were at a 10-2 for the first half. And the fact that we had that kind of a
up as much on this map specifically for Legacy, especially on the defense, but I suppose only time will tell. I think on the side of Sharks, trying to dissect the limited amount of tape they have is also going to be interesting. They don't really have too much to go off of in terms of how they want to anti-strat this team, and so they're going to have to really stick to their own guns as to how they fundamentally approach this map and see if that does the trick against this roster of Legacy. Look towards players like Doc in terms of aggression. Look towards players like RDN, who also has a lot of power and potency in the mid to late round.
Yeah, definitely. RDN's definitely been somebody that I knew, like, statistically, you know, in the history of this team was, like, decent, but, you know, he really had himself a bit of a field day on the first map, considering it was a loss. But, look, it's all going to come down to this. I mean, this is a question if Legacy can get things done with a 2-0, or maybe it could go to 3 maps, but, oh, dear God, I don't even know how he's still alive. Lux is able to put these dualies into full effect, and even blind, he finds the triple kill, and it was looking like Sharks maybe were going to get a bit of an opening with the utility, but it just backfires, and that bomb's going to go down. RDN, the man we were just talking about, he's got 10 HP to spare against 4 CTs, and honestly, Paladin, I just cannot believe Legacy, they get a lifeline with those dualies, and they survive the pistol once again.
I was talking about the worries that I had with anchoring, and Lux says, fine, I'll do it myself. 3 kills on those dual Berettas. Nissim's got the backstab here, no problem. And RDN will hit the ground. So Legacy have a beautiful start to their defensive campaign. No bomb plant, no real kills as well for the Sharks, and that means they're going to have to go for that full save. So we can kind of take the time to really dissect what's going on with this team, where they're kind of playing around the map, as they probably take this a little bit more of a default approach, and we can kind of pick apart the positions that they're playing. But so far, really liking what I'm seeing from Lux and what he has on offer, and I'm curious to see whether Lotto will be a little bit more of that rotator, whether they'll kind of let him off the leash, but he's actually going to be playing Cave. And I think that's one thing that's very interesting about this team, is that Lotto's a very versatile player. He's played in all kinds of roles in his career, and what I've been seeing recently is they've kind of been putting him on some hard anchor roles, and so having to deal with that will be very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean a bit of a quick one here, the FAMAS, and you know, I mean we haven't really been able to see a lot of FAMAS action too. Like, I mean, I don't know, you and I haven't really had a long time to talk about it, but I mean I've been pretty happy with that update. I know that's been a little bit of time ago, but it is nice that the CT side is getting a little bit more of a buff, if you will, just in the sense of, you know, tweaking things. The FAMAS actually, I feel like it now has a better playing system in the game now, whereas I felt before it was kind of it felt like a troll to me, to be honest, but maybe it's just me, but now I actually feel like you can support that kind of a play.
Absolutely. Sadzin straight away going for mid control. Instant pocket molly. Doesn't go deep enough, and that gives Sadzin an opportunity for a first shot. He calms that a second player has crossed over, and now it's Operation Survive. He's got to get out of dodge, and he will safely. Sure, Gafolo will get a little bit of mid presence, but there is some issues at hand for the Sharks. And confirmed lane control as well, so there is still stuff to be excited about if you're the Sharks. But Sadzin has now rotated over to the donut and will not realize that Gafolo's made it here as well. So keep an eye out for this late lurk when we get down to that 30-second mark, and whether that potency of a potential B backstab could be on the cards.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure, because this is a good Molotov that's going to get placed on the Lotto. Nicely done. But Lotto, again, playing just kind of the quick peek onto it. Just throwing some utility in Cave just to kind of slow things down. But Sharks going to get this presence. They're going to be fine with it. 2 players into this this B site, though, and now Gafolo getting a little bit of an inkling. Both players go for the swing. Dumal's going to be able to find it. Nicely done. A little bit of a jab it across, and now, yeah, the CT's just mopped this thing up. Flawless round to add on to as well. So, I mean, again, Dumal takes a big brunt of damage, but, I mean, the fact that all 5 players are going to stay alive, and Sharks going for the purchase, things are looking a little bit more bright here on the CT side, Paladin. I wasn't thinking it could be this way, but it looks like Legacy maybe, they really have done some of their new homework with that leadership like you were alluding to.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm fairly disappointed with how that round kind of ends up. The lurk doesn't mean anything. Nothing happens in cave. They kind of just get rolled over. And that's the kind of individual potency that comes with this team. Lotto and Lux on this B bomb site. It's a very scary prospect, and Lotto has already gotten his spams down to a T, looking a little Rain-esque there with that spam down range. Gofolo goes down, and an instant 5v4 for Legacy.
Yeah, an instant. This is a quick round. It's going to be pretty much over unless we see something in the impossible right now from one of these two players, the Sharks. But it's really about, I think, Legacy just keeping the players alive. Oh, dear God. Okay, hang on. I mean, the nade does a little bit of bounce back. That's nice. Okay. Things are cleaned up nicely. No guns saved. It was looking a little sketchy for, what, 2 seconds there, but nice little bounce back. Legacy, again, maintaining good form on the CT side. This was, you know, I know historically they have been a better CT-sided team on this map, despite their not so great record, but things are looking pretty good, and it does seem like it's a lot more polished than I was kind of expecting, right? I mean, I think that's where my head was scratching a lot about just like the revamp of this team and how much could change, but so far it seems really good.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of shifting around here, but so far so good. There was always going to be some growing pains after Neki's departed. Growing pains like that, missed nade from Lux, but here comes
Good
RDN.
blooper.
3 players, or 2 players behind him, 3 players in total, trying to walk and slink their way out through mid. Might even consider going through some smokes here. Nobody to greet them in red room, so RDN can get settled here as the round develops, but Lotto's just gone through the cave smoke and found 2 out of nowhere. Just completely spoiled the Sharks party, and all that plan A that was gathered together is going to have to completely reconsider itself here.
Oh man, you gotta love this though for any Legacy fans, because again, the fact that Lotto's able to just go for a swing like that, Sharks never expecting it. They're gonna get this bomb down though, so look, I mean, 3-on-2 situation still. Molly gonna get thrown onto long. Lotto right now sitting himself at a 7-1, and now Nyx has actually been able to find a connection with the off, so things are back to an even playing field, but no, Lotto's looking for more. Sitting on the triple kill, maybe able to find this quad. And now it's just down to Doc. He hasn't been able to find a single duel in his favor at all this game. Sitting at an 0-4, desperately hungry to find a duel. Timer's already halfway through, and Legacy need to get moving. They need to be able to find something. They got the kits. They don't have any utility to block things off. It's all about just hitting these shots. Doc's able to find the 1, not the 2. And there it is. Legacy will continue on with a 5-0.
Yeah, a little bit of inexperience there from Nyx, re-peeking, I think, a couple too many times there. But, of course, when you've got that pressure in the 2vx, you're just trying to shave off one player to make it a more doable scenario. Dumao takes a long time to get through the cave, but it actually gives so much information to them. They know that the site's probably clear. They know that the back lanes are clear, and cave, there can only be one location. It's got to be that tucked-in banana position, and he gets cleared out straight away. Trade is effective. The instant defuse as well. Very dynamic CT side here from Legacy to start things off, and some crisp retaking to end these rounds off as well. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think I'll be with you here too. Definitely impressed with how things are going, and I want to see a little bit more with these offs. So I'm excited that we get to finally see Sodzing getting it equipped. There we go. Nice easy one. And he's able to escape with his life. This is actually really good positioning from him. Look at him and Dumao together. They don't even need utility. They're just going to bring the guns to this fight. A little bit of a shot miss, but Nissim's going to be able to save Sodzing's life. And again, only 1 casualty on a big purchase here from Sharks. Things are looking really good right now for Legacy fans. A 6-0. They've been able to secure the half. Worst case scenario to a 6-6. If we get there, if Sharks are able to find some kind of a bounce back. But do we see maybe the timeouts now, Paladin? We saw it before where Sharks went for all 3 at one time. Maybe they're going to do it again.
Yeah, possibly. I think that as of right now, if I'm Kochi and if I'm Gofolo, I'm rethinking that Ancient pick altogether. I mean, Nuke was open. Nuke was a very much a possibility in this veto, and they opted against it. They tried to go in to a quote-unquote weakness, but I think looks can be deceiving at this point when you see the improvements that Legacy have done to this defensive haul so far. Automatically putting a lot of pressure on Sharks here to find some answers, and answers maybe they can find, because look at this. They've gotten up to the base of cave very quickly. No CTs to greet them. They should be able to get a bomb plant, but Lux finds a dink and a kill through the smoke.
Oh, but look at Lotto's positioning. Oh my gosh, peekaboo, and there he is. Maybe the triple. He can't get it done, but he does a ton of damage. And Gafolo now, 1-on-3 by himself. He tries to go for the big fight into cave. Even look at Nissim. He was still locked in, man. He was dialed. He was thinking there was somebody about for a swing, and everyone's like, no, they're all gone, bro. You're good. But man, these guys are just playing some really good CS right now. Their defense is really something to behold. But I mean, for Sharks, at least in that kind of a scenario, they can get the bomb down right. But now, look, I mean, we're on round 8 here, Paladin. Like, we got to see something different quick. This thing's getting out of hand.
Yeah, I think the game plan there was fine. They got to the base of cave with no resistance. They kind of pushed back the CTs and nearly got up short, but Lotto is just playing such a clean game right now, playing ahead of the utility and catching them out by surprise. I mean, this is the second time now where he's completely disassembled a game plan from Gafolo. And now look at Dumao getting Nancy in the middle of middle. Beautiful work there. A little bit of a team nade there to take out Nissim, or to take out Dumao rather from Nissim. But the damage is already done. Mid control handled. Lux finds one more. He finds a Doc standing on the side of cave. And it's all up to Nyx now in the 1v3. He clips one away. But at this point, he's just got so much work to do, Laz. I don't think he's got it in him.
Oh man, I was thinking, like, I love that we're just seeing the variety from Legacy too, right? Like the fact that even Dumao, like he had the run, you know, a good little bit of a run boost. The molly gave his position away. It just hit his foot. I was thinking this is, you know, he's a dead man. I didn't think he was going to get away with that, but I love the reposition, like hard left on the wall there with just on the edge of the smoke. Now that's where, you know, when you're getting destroyed like this with an 8-0 against you, that is the most frustrating thing, where players are now building their confidence. They're starting to play a lot more loose. They're starting to really feel it. So look, we're finally getting some good moments. Lotto's had himself a huge game with a 10-3. Nissim sitting at a 9-2. Lux, you know, these guys are all in really good states. And even Sodzin, I mean, I know it's been a little bit more quiet for him, but whenever he's been tested with the AWP, he's been able to fulfill what he needs to do. He's been able to play his role to the full effect. So things are just looking, again, the stars, I talked about them being aligned, but it seems like it might be actually the case now here for the second map.
Yeah, I mean, Sodzin hasn't even been pressured on that A-bomb side at all, right? They're getting pushed back in middle and on a B-bomb side, and he could just stay completely locked and loaded on that A-main side of things, because his rifle core is doing everything right now for him, just kind of backpacking him all the way through this game. Not to say that he's playing poorly, but it's just such a tight ship being run by Lux for the rest of the rifles, that it's been smooth sailing for Legacy, dealing with these infested waters with ease.
Oh, look at Lotto again, man. He's just trying to get a little cheeky. He's trying to get a little aggressive on it, but okay. It actually does punish him, so they're going to be able to pick up the rifle, but now they got themselves an advantage. It's been a little bit of time. Lux, ooh,
there you go.
Okay, RDN. That's something good. That's something now. They got themselves a free bomb site.
And this is an unlosable situation here for the Sharks. Unwinnable situation for the Legacy. And it all comes down to finally punishing the aggression. That little jolt step there from Lotto to kind of clear out middle like he did a couple rounds ago. But this time Gafolo and RDN are prepared. They deal with that and they instantly pounce on that B bomb site. Straight smokes into an execute, and they try to just make sure that they can overwhelm Lux. Lux finds nothing, and it's an easy open and shut case around there for Sharks to find their first. Still a lot of work to be done. You know, Lotto can always pull back there and play a little bit slower. So it's not a round that I can just say can be easily found.
Oh, no.
That's ugly from Doc, or from Nissim rather. Great from Doc. But he'll be wanting those bullets back.
Yeah. And he was doing it so right. He was just like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to trigger this split. I'm going to wait. Somebody else is going to come through this. And man, that was a sick shot from Doc. But look, yeah, kind of a weird round for them to win. But I mean, like you were kind of mentioning, it's those first opening duels. Lotto getting a little bit, probably a little bit too overzealous on the peak, right? Like getting a little bit too excited on it. You know, he's been given it before. He tried it again, didn't work. But nicely done from the Sharks to be able to bounce themselves back into a round that I feel like on paper really wasn't in their favor, but they make it work. So now, I mean, no harm, no foul here for Legacy, unless this round falls apart. Good trades coming back for the Sharks, though. RDN was able to cross through just in the nick of time. Lux should be able to find himself an easy duel. Once again, the trigger is put in. Okay, this time it's going to be fine. But now he's got a utility out. He finally gets the quick switch back. That's what we wanted to see. Now we're seeing that 3-on-2. Both players crossing each other. Ships in the night. They have no idea what just happened. And this is interesting because now you can see the bomb is finally making its way into this site. But he's gone. And things just get cleaned up quickly from Sodson again.
I mean, that's an absolute turret from Sodson there. Having a 90-degree flick back in the cave. Being aware that there's a cave player like that. That there's a little bit of a timing. Great communication, I'm assuming, from Lotto there that was a possibility. Penny never drops for RDN that Lotto is missing. And that sorely costs them there in that round. 9-1 for Legacy, and they've just understood the holes in their potential defense, how to bottle them up, how to really play together and tether accordingly, and it just looks so beautiful. Look at the spam now from Lotto. Nick's falling, no opportunity to get work done on that boost box. And this is just more of that exciting Counter-Strike that you would hope that you could get out of this Legacy squad. And Lux is now spamming through the floorboards. Beautiful.
That's 2 spam kills. That's from Lotto starting things off, and then even Lux able to find one too. So, like, again, Sharks just, like, it just seems like there's no horseshoe. Like, these guys have the worst luck in the world right now. Nothing is lining up for them. Like, no sort of an ability to get any movement on this T side. But, I mean, look, the split on this is kind of interesting because they got the 2 players in A main. The bomb is in the outskirts of T spawn. These guys have to be able to win some duels. Not going to happen at all. And Nissim finds an easy kill on the RDM with no trade. I mean, what do you even do in this situation? You're on a 2-on-5 with 45 seconds remaining, Paladin. I mean, I think you just got to tuck tail.
Yeah, I think you're right here, Laz. And unfortunately, it's a very damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation, right? Because you got to give 10 to your opponents, and you're just kind of seeing these rounds fly by. But with Doc finding the AWP, giving another shot to Nyx, I think it is just the best call. And they kind of have to grimace here and fall away, but what can you do? Legacy are just on another level right now. Really making the Sharks regret this decision to go into this map.
And that's what, like, again, like, you always kind of take everything with a grain of salt, right? Like, I mean, I knew, like, with their, you know, the other roster and things like that, like, their CT side was really, like, the heavy side for them. Like, on this map, even though they have, like, a 1-3 record, it's their stronger side of, like, a 68.57 rating. But still, like, this is just so shocking to see. Again, we might even have a deja vu situation, maybe, unless Legacy can even find another round in their favor. But they're at double digits in the first half, Paladin, which I feel like we don't normally get to see that very often, right? But, I mean, it seems like Legacy they're on some kind of new little bit of a meta or something like that. And Doomau tries to get a bit aggressive again. Not going to happen. Gafolo's finally going to take him out. So they've been able to find 2 beautiful openers from him. So things are starting to look a little bit better now for Sharks, but can they maintain this form? Can they be able to finally get themselves a secondary round needed to transition in that second half?
Oh, they should. They absolutely should. Lux is aggressed down Banana. Still a little wary that there could be a player out in the base of the spawn. So he doesn't try to clear out pocket on its own. And because of that, the round slows to a halt. Legacy can't really find a foothold back in. And this is another one of those rounds, Laz, where they've just got to convert this. They've got to convert this 5v3, especially with the amount of control they have over the map. Lotto is still trained, still wants to give this a shot. Spots a couple of heads, but there's RDN. Finding essentially the round-winning play, you'd like to think. Lux will claw one back, but they know that that's the remaining B anchor and that this bomb site should be open for business. They smoke both sides. Sodson nades open the smoke, but the bomb planters made it over. The C4 should hit the dirt. And Legacy will try their hand at this 2v4. It is the last round of the half after all.
Yeah, it's all this, right? I mean, everything has to come into this. No more saving. Everybody's just got to commit to this plan. But Sodson, again, has the op. Lux has been able to have himself a great game thus far, but now it's just about hitting these shots. A little bit of connection onto the toes, and can't seem to get the kill, but he's doing some good tenderizing. And now Sodson, in an impossible task, gets a nice little bit of a drive-by shot with the op. 3 bullets remaining in the chamber. He has to find these kills quickly. He gets a second. Time is ticking. Time is dwindling, and Koala will be able to put the nail to the coffin, and we finally see Sharks bouncing back with a second round, and that's where we're going to take that break and see if they can bring the same heat in the second. Well, a little bit of deja vu. We're finally back into the second map. A 10-2 scoreline, the exact that we saw here on the first map on Mirage. Things maybe could be a little bit differently here, though. We're on Ancient, but now the question is, Paladin, do Sharks have enough in them to do what they did before and bring things back to a closer game and maybe even pushing it to a map number 3?
They'd love to get there to Anubis, but it seems so far away now. Just have to put one foot in front of the other and hope that something connects. Of course, the margin for error is even more shallow at this point. And I don't necessarily know if they've got it in them. I mean, you don't really got the individual flair that they were at least able to hang on to start or to kind of close out the T side or the CT side of Mirage. But here on the defense, I think there's a little bit more leeway to do a good job. But of course, it all comes down to this initial round. This second half pistol. Go big or go home. And right now, I mean, Fluxo are up a map against Imperial. You do not want to play that squad in the lower bracket. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah, that's some good advice there, because that's true, and that's where we were kind of saying these 4 teams that are in this close qualifier. It's it's just going to be nail biter after nail biter, and these matchups are just going to be nuts when you kind of think about it. But, I mean, look, we can't get ahead of ourselves yet. Legacy still have to prove to us that their
What?
T-side can be decent, and Lux is still able to find himself more impact left, right, and center. He finds the double. He's sitting at a 14-7, but that, again, is a ruse. It's just going to be Gafolo now with a USP only. What the hell is happening? He's fighting fires right now in the smokes. He's just not able to find anything. And look at Dumao. He somehow gets a kill jumping out of it. And Legacy, they take away a pistol in the most gruesome way possible.
Oh, and at that point for Legacy, they don't care, man. They don't care how they've won that. Lux just walks out middle, finds a quick double, and then just the back and forth of utility, dodging flashes, seeing flashes, and somehow, some way, Legacy, full gray screen, just trade their way into that B bomb site. And now, they've got the game on a silver platter. A force buy on the other end. Nyx has bought armor and he's still got just a USP. Hard times and then some for the Sharks.
It really is, man. It just felt like I was thinking this is going to be the bounce back moment, the comeback moment here for the Sharks. But I mean, I think a lot was really riding on the pistol round, as cliche as that sounds. But I mean, now it's just about Legacy just trying to put the final nails into this coffin potentially. But I mean, 11-2 and now transitioning over, not bad at all. Ancient has been looking really good here for Legacy. And these bodies are just starting to hit the floor. And yeah, I think this is all over, Paladin. I mean, look at this. Like, Sharks, I mean, with that investment they put into it, you got to keep it. You got the armor, you got the MP9s. You just got to do what you can.
Yeah, and it's so weak that, like, you have to save MP9s. Like, that is the situation at hand. And it's unfortunate, but that's all they can afford. You'll probably end up seeing something like 5 MP9s in the next round. So, really dicey situation. It really just goes to show the kind of potency that this Legacy roster has when you let the individuals flourish like this. And to add on top of that, you've still got Lux playing like he's still on pain. That's the most ridiculous part.
It is.
There's obviously there's supposed to be a dip in form. I mean, you're calling now that it shouldn't be allowed, but
yeah, IGLs don't do that, right?
He's the highest rated player for this team in the last 3 months. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and again, I'm so glad you bring that up because I was thinking that too. It's like, how is your IGL like your best player? Like when you talk about the last 3 months, he's sitting at a 1.24. The next closest person was Dumao. He was sitting at 1.15. So the fact that Lux is that much better when he's calling and like fragging like this, I'm all for it. Like, I mean, it's a nice little bit of a shift, right? We talk about IGL's not able to really pack the punch, but looking like he's going to eat our own words. He's going to change things up here for 2025, and I love it.
Oh, and Doc is really thinking about getting frisky here. The nade is suggesting that he's probably deeper, but oh, okay. He does get a kill. He gets a second as well. I'm shocked that he finds 2. And now Nyx can, have a freebie, but niffs him head on a swivel, rips his head clean off. Doc is still there for a trade. But these full HP players of Lotto and Sodzin have made their way onto the B bomb site. Sodzin fakes the plant, and that allows for Lotto on this swing and finds a quick double. Damage on Gafolo as well, but Gafolo will allow Sharks to survive in this best of 3 just a little bit longer.
It's kind of crazy to think that that round honestly became that close because, you know, again, the nade was just, you know, being pulled on the outskirts of Cave. Doc goes for a huge swing. Like, honestly, a Hail Mary move. Like, that, I feel like 9 times out of 10 that will never work, right? I mean, he went in, he just went for a swing with the MP9, and he was able to get 2 kills. Like, I thought maybe at best he'd get the 1 and done, but the fact that he was able to find 2, I mean, he just pulled a lifeline so hard and keeping them a little bit in this game. The bleeding is, you know, going to be stemmed a little bit, but for how long? I mean, Legacy now on series point for a long time. Doc and Gafolo together are getting a little bit antsy. They're getting a little bit pissed. They want to get things done, and I mean, slowly and surely, Paladin, things could slowly be built back up, but it's going to be a long damn road.
Yeah, 9 rounds in a row just for overtime. There was a force buy here from Legacy, and doesn't look like it'll result in anything too positive. I'll just wait out this smoke here, see if they can find a straggling CT, but these positions are some of the hardest to clear out, especially if you don't have any utility. They do creep out, they do find their way in, but Nissim hits the deck. Sodzin not too long for this world either. And it's all into Dumao. Got a lot of headway in middle here, but was never really offered up a kill. So with this, the Sharks start their road back into this game. And of course, paving that road will be a difficult one, but they've got to start somewhere. And it'll be here to where they start to plant that flag down.
Yeah, and I just don't see this situation at all. Like, look, he doesn't even have the bomb, and he has to fight against 4 different players. But look, a good round from Sharks to be able to bounce back. Doc really, stepping things up when needed. Getting, I think that was a triple kill, if I'm not mistaken, to finish that round out. So a nice amount of work, but still, again, a lot more rounds needed here to bring this thing to an overtime situation. And I mean, talking about overtime, I mean, I don't know, we briefly got to talk about this, but, the Fluxo Imperial game, I mean, that was on Train. That was a 1915, and now they're on Nuke. And I mean, it looks like, Fluxo, they're having themselves a pretty good game. So like you said, I mean, there's a world where Imperial could even be in the lower bracket, which is kind of crazy to think about in itself. But we'll see. Good nade, good meat grind around. And yeah, look at these two together. These guys just make it very much a minced meat recipe.
Did you like to see? And now another real test for them. One of several, to say the least. Guaranteed at least 3 to 4 buy rounds that they're going to have to deal with. And with the kind of pace that Legacy like to approach their T sides, they're going to have to use these anti-rush grenades straight away. Don't want to have to deal with Dumao running at you in middle. So they'll toss those in. Oh, beautiful little run boost to get Koala close. And Dumao really considering going through this. The nade open in the smoke. Spots one and Lux from the other end from Shelf. That's a beautiful little crunch there on the middle. But the bomb has been dropped. Dumao's got to stand and deliver. He does immense amounts of damage onto Nyx as well. Shouldn't be long for this world. But Nyx will step up. Still find one more, but back turned. Unfortunate. Lado will capitalize. Bomb recovered. Everything relies upon Doc's shoulders now. Highest rated player for Sharks so far. But with Lado and Nissim finally joining hands, this bomb should be able to go down. I say that, they've taken a little too much time. Doc has gotten his way all the way into Donut. Smoke will come up, but Doc is seriously considering to go through it. He'll have a player potentially on a silver platter, but Lado will capitalize. 13-5, an absolute demolition on Ancient. It's an absolute hoodwink of a veto for Legacy as they continue on in this upper bracket.
Yeah, honestly, this was not the way I thought it was going to go. Like, I was thinking, just given what we knew about these teams and just kind of looking at the map pool from the vetoes, I was thinking this